Okay, so anyway guys, I wanted to get you out in the yard today, but that ain't gonna happen because it's raining. We did fill up one of the little pools. We have two little kids pools that, you know, the larger of the two, the molded, you know what I'm talking about? And we have those out there. So we filled up one of them with a couple inches of water because, believe it or not, Duffy loves to lay in the pool. He'll lay in it all day. So we said, well, it was warm over the weekend. We'll put a couple inches of water in it. This here way it'll warm up a little bit. Actually, I think the wife even used a little bit of warm water, and everything was fine. And you know, he was laying in this pool last night until who knows when. So, but other than that, I really can't get out there to do much. That tree that I transplanted, that I was hoping was going to take, is really not looking too good. I'm going to give it a couple more 3 or 4 weeks to see. I'll go out and look and see if there's any new growth at all on it, and if not, I'm just going to have to yank it out of there. Unfortunately, like I say, I don't like killing anything that lives regardless, but I gave it a chance, and this is the time when it's going to start sucking the nutrients up and the sap starts to flow. So I'm hoping that the root system takes bite. I've been watering it faithfully a lot, so we'll see what happens with that. So the other guy that I talked to on Anncestry.com, I called to cancel. After getting off a hold, I got a gentleman on the phone that handled everything perfectly. So I didn't cancel, and he took care of the problem. Like I think I told you, when he had me on hold, he was thinking, well, maybe, you know, we can just split it. And they said, oh, that's not going to happen. So he can't do that. So he said what he's going to do is make a notation on my wife's email, as well as my email, that we are both to get the worldwide, because they have 3 different packages, and apparently the worldwide is the biggest one. It's normally $199 for 6 months. For $99 for the first 6 months. Now there's no obligation. You can cancel at any time. You don't have to keep paying. And to be honest with you, I know people that have done this, and they only join for like maybe the first 6 months, and they pull in as much information as they can because it starts to grow. Now, I've never done it. I'm only hearsaying at this point, but it starts to grow automatically because it'll start matching DNAs for you, and you start getting little leaves or something, and apparently these start opening up your ancestries to people you never even knew you knew, that type of thing. Well, knew that were even in the family or in the bloodline. So they say, most of the time you don't need more than 6 months. And they said if something happens to where they get, at a standstill, they may join up again for another 6 months, taking, the package and then canceling it after 6 months and then going for another year or 2 before they join up again. So, that's another option at this point. So we'll take advantage of the first 6 months so we can start that. And the DNA should be in shortly, so we can do a lot of spitting in a jar. And boy, I'd hate to have the job of checking the spit. But I guess it could be worse at this point. But that's where we're at. So we'll see. Because ancestry, family history, believe it or not, it's like anything else. It changes as time goes on. And what I mean by that, the stories, the regulate, yeah, you know what I mean. They start to change, so it's like you get 10 people in a line and you whisper in one's ear, something, and by the time it gets to the end, it's totally different than what you whispered. So it's the same thing with your family history. They don't mean to, but the stories make changes, and sometimes a little bit more exaggeration and things, you know, and that's even law enforcement thinks that way, because stories seem to get, you know, enlarged. You know, they start enhancing on them to make it more of a dramatic story, you know, or more funny, or more, you know, heroic. You know, I mean, it just happens, you know, and it's not that it means to happen. So it's good that this is out there, because it kind of gives you an idea. You know, now I am supposedly related to somebody that blew up in the Hindenburg. That was supposed to be one of my uncles. I have no idea. I don't even know why he was on the Hindenburg. You know, I'm supposedly, my nickname is after him. I have another uncle that was the right-hand man for Dutch Schultz. They used to call him Buster. Well, they called me Buster for the longest time. He used to be the guy that went out and broke the legs if you screwed around with the Dutch. He finally was able to retire and move to Hawaii right after Dutch was taken out at this point. So, you know, he was able to live a comfortable life in Hawaii after that. But these are stories that, okay, are they or aren't they? You follow me? You don't know. You really don't know. Not that the family's trying to lie to you. It's just that sometimes they try to make things sound better than what they may be. Or they're saying what they may have heard from somebody else. The only way you kind of know, and I can't say it's a definite, is to do this DNA thing. I mean, and DNA, even as long as it's been around, it's still new. You know, they're still finding other things. So, you know, now they also have a so-called DNA test to let you know what diseases you have in your body. Well, if that can be done, why don't our insurance companies do this to us so they can start treating these things before they surface? Yeah, you follow me? You know, well, I think a lot of that is money, because the system revolves around money. If they knew this, they wouldn't have research on it, you know, or they wouldn't have to be paying all this medical, and insurance companies wouldn't be around, and, you know, it just snowballs. So you kind of see how things work. You know what I mean? It's a money-driven country, unfortunately, and they got to agreed at the same time. So let me zoom out here. I didn't know I was zoomed in. But meanwhile, I don't want to get off track here. You know, I start to diverse quickly. So I'm back to the DNA. So I'm going to wait until a little bit after lunch, and I'll contact the wife and let her know that, let her sign up and get that started. And our spittoon should be here within the next couple of days. And I'll let you know how I made out with all that once we get done. Now, what's today? Well, today is, like I said, today is, what is today? Wednesday. It's the 25th of April. And it's raining. It's not too cold out, but it is raining. Alright, I gotta change the battery.